Use your solitude to shift your frequency. Solitude is not forever, and that is exactly why you need to use it well, okay? Solitude is a gift. It is a gift that you are either given or it is a gift that you give yourself when you want to bring your attention to something else. So if you're feeling lonely, I want you to consider yourself very lucky. Be very grateful because your spirit is essentially giving you a gift. Your spirit is telling you, let's take a beat. Come, child. Let's take a break. What is it that we want to do? Let's take a break from the contrast. Let's take a break from the background noise. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 2 things that you should be doing if you have found yourself in a period of solitude. If you're on my TikTok, this is going to be 2 parts. If you're on my YouTube, this is going to be 1 part. So let's go through your spiritual advantages right now. What are your spiritual advantages in this period of solitude? Your first spiritual advantage is that you are specifically being given a break from being a shock absorber. Being a shock absorber is what kills your frequency. When you're alone, you're not dealing with constant emotional stresses, unnecessary conflicts, negative behaviors brought to you by other people. And this matters because constant exposure to bad faith people, narcissistic people, people who use you as a dumping ground and make you carry problems that you have no business carrying, problem after problem after problem, people, that makes you a shock absorber. And shock absorption makes you weak over time. You become weaker and weaker and weaker. And that type of stuff is what gives you autoimmune diseases, chronic illnesses. It contributes to that. And when you're dealing with an autoimmune disease, chronic illness, you're tired. You're in a survival state. You're constantly stressed out. These are the things that compound with being a shock absorber. You become tired. You're a survivor. So being a shock absorber marries you to the state of being in a constant deficit, and your solitude is allowing you a break from absorbing everything, especially if you are in a period of solitude that is followed after a long period of craziness and people bombarding you with all sorts of BS. In your solitude, even if there is noise, there is less noise. It means a lot more strength is being gained. The weakness is reversing itself. Your ability to critically think and not just survive is coming back because you are no longer absorbing people's BS at an abysmal rate. That is what your solitude is doing for you. So now in your state of solitude in this period, because you are no longer in a state of absorbing active shock to your system from bad faith actors, what should you be doing in this period? How do you take advantage of this period of your life? The first thing you need to be doing in your period of solitude is mastering impact in a way that benefits you instead of others weaponizing their impact against you by making you their shock absorber. Impact, 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 impact. What are the ways you can impact your life quickly right now that'll make it difficult for other people's negative shocks to impact you because you have already impacted your life in a very big way? What are those ways? Impact reversal. Write that down, please. Impact reversal. When you impact your own life, it is very hard for others to make a catastrophic impact in your own life. It is incredibly difficult. So in your solitude, there is less emotional abuse from others, meaning there is less emotional earthquakes for you, meaning there is more presence for you. With your presence, what is your plan to impact your dimension in a larger than life way that makes it impossible for other people to negatively impact you? That permanently stops you from being a shock absorber, aka someone who is living and operating from a deficit, a very low frequency, and experiencing way more negativity than they should be. No more shock absorption. Your impact could look financial. It's you getting on that horse right now. It's you filling out those applications that you've been postponing up until this moment. Your astronomical impact could be you working on your emotional intelligence so that you're not so eager to hop into relationships that don't serve you. That is impact. Impact compounds. Don't skip over the seemingly small stuff. Okay, reality ruining things, it's made from conviction after conviction after conviction. It's all a projection from self, right? So you need to nip those little bad habits in the bud. And you do that by incrementally building on your habits throughout the day. You are taking note of your dominant feelings, of your mood swings, from feeling a surge of dopamine in the presence of someone particular to a sudden dip in dopamine to someone who gives you anxiety. That needs to be done in your solitude period, because solitude doesn't mean that you're living in a vacuum. We'll get into that in step number 2. We're still sticking to the things you need to do in this solitude period. What other things could you be doing to strengthen your impact? Let's go through a few more. Impact is also spiritual amplification. You need rituals that make you feel armored throughout your day. What is your morning ritual? What does your morning routine look like? That is impact. Your morning, it needs to be bulletproof. Not every day, because let's be for real. But 7 times out of 10, what have you trained your mind to reach for? Okay, what you worship first thing in the morning is exactly what is gonna come save you when you are in the dumps. You need to keep your mind on a leash first thing in the morning. Do not doom scroll first thing in the morning. These are impacts. You are self-impacting. Same thing for afternoons. You take control of your afternoon. It's going to be pretty hard for other people to make you a shock absorber in their own afternoons. One of the ways that you could impact your life right now that you are in this period of solitude is practicing sharpening your emotional execution in the moment, seamless delivery of how you are feeling without tearing your life apart, essentially. So journaling. Do you have a journal? Even if you rip it up at the end of the day, you need to be journaling in this solitude period, especially now that you feel alone. As I said, loneliness is a very temporary feeling, and being alone is a very temporary thing. You're gonna have moments that are very social, that will demand your presence if that is what you are about. So that is the first thing you are doing in your solitude period. That is your number 1. Let us move on to the second advantage that your solitude gives you, as well as the second thing that you are going to do based on this during the solitude period.